Good day, good day, good day once again. Welcome back, Mr. Tabu Maupag on security training. I'm back again today. I'm going to be starting to do grade C, which is the third phase of the security training, which is basic security training. If you remember, we did grade E, which was the introductory phase or the first phase, grade D, second phase, then grade C is the third phase, which qualifies you to be a general security officer under general security practices. You can only work as a guard doing access control, guarding and patrolling, but unarmed without a firearm. Right. All the information that I'm going to be presenting is coming from this manual, which are also available on request, as I said in the other modules. Right. Our module 1 in grade C is called Legal Aspects 2. It's quite a trail because we started grade E and we did basic legal aspects where we learned about what is crime, where we learned about the requirements of registrations, reasons for withdrawal, powers of arrest, manner of effecting an arrest, and so on. That was in grade E, the introductory phase. We came to grade D. We also did again the definition of crime, the articles which the state may seize. We did the actions that can make you to be liable or to have committed an offense, which is in section 29 of the Road Traffic Act. All right. That was grade D. Now grade C, legal aspects 2, because at grade D it was now called legal aspects 1. Legal aspects 2, it also, some of the things are the same with the D and the E. Right. Let me now start with the aim of this module. The aim of this module is to ensure that security officers keep up with the legal aspects, which go hand in hand with our line of work, right? And also to ensure that the security officers, they comply with the law in such a way that they must be aware of the serious crimes which we call the Schedule 1 offenses. Then powers of arrest are also reiterated there. Then we've got manner of effecting an arrest also being reiterated. But before we go any further, let me just now bring the definition of legal aspects. It's still the same definition that I gave you in grade E and D. Legal aspects is defined as a set of rules that define the legal rights of security officers with regard to arrest, searching, and custody within the framework of the law. It remains the same. Right. Then we come now to the definition of crime. Why it's being repeated in all these modules is because it's very important that you know the definition of crime so that when you arrest somebody, you know exactly what steps to take and what is a Schedule 1 offense or the very serious offenses. So crime is defined as any unlawful human conduct punishable by the state. It didn't change from E, T until now at C. Right. Then now we come to another part which I mentioned in grade E, if you can still remember, or you can relate the type of laws that we have. Number one, of what common law. Number two, we got statutory law. Then number three, we got criminal law, which is the one that we apply, we as security officers in our line of work. Right. Under criminal law, though, there is some things that you have to bear in mind. Sometimes, let me give you a scenario. You are on duty, you're a security officer, you are armed. Then criminals come and they want to force their way into the premises. Then they start shooting at you to scare you away. They don't know you are armed, or maybe they know. They shoot, then you take cover, then you reciprocate, you shoot back. Unfortunately, you kill one of the criminals. You have committed a criminal offense according to the law. But that criminal offense that you committed, there are certain circumstances that can make it legal. The unlawfulness can become lawful if we apply things that we call the grounds of justification. Those are the things that you can stand on in order to defend yourself. Right. In this module, what is going to happen is it's quite tough for other people. Like I've seen people struggling theoretically to read it and then to answer the examinations, because it's quite a lot of stuff in this legal aspects model. Right. So this is falling under the objectives. Let me just list the objectives to you so that maybe you can have a clear mind about it. The objectives of this model: number one, you must be able to define what is crime, right? Number two, you must know the three different types of laws that are there, which is the ones I was explaining now. Common law, statutory law, and criminal law. Number three, you must be able to list and understand the 7 grounds of justification. Number four, you must be able to list as well as to understand and demonstrate the understanding thereof of the requirements for private defense to be successful in court. Number five, you have to know the Schedule 1 offenses as well as their definitions if need be. Number five, you must know your powers of arrest. 6, you must know manner of effecting an arrest, right? As well as breaking open of premises, which we did in grade D, but it doesn't matter. Those are the objectives of this module, right? Now let's start with the grounds of justification. These are the grounds that you can be able to rely on if you committed a crime in the line of duty. As I was giving you a scenario where people come and then they attack you while you're guarding a property, and then you fight back. Unfortunately, you shoot one of the criminals, and then you'll be answerable to that. That's when now you can rely on any one of these grounds in order to ward off the prosecution. Right. The grounds of justification are 7. Number 1, private defense. 2, necessity. 3, impossibility. 4, consent. 5, right of chastisement. 6, acting upon order. 7, official capacity. Those are what we call the grounds of justification. When they say private defense, if you are attacked in your home or where you are working, where you are protecting property, and then you have to ward off the attack by retaliating or reciprocating the way they are attacking you, then unfortunately one of the perpetrators dies, then you can be able to go to court and use private defense as your ground of justification. Number 2, necessity. It can only apply in the case of an emergency or if the attack infringes the rights of an innocent third party. Right. Number 3, impossibility. My neighbor is getting robbed, and then it's impossible for me just to sit back and say everything is okay when it's not okay. Number 4, consent. Consent simply means permission, the permission that you were given by whoever, your employer or the client that you are serving, that you must do anything in your power to defend the property. So you're going to stand with that ground in court to say, I had permission from my employers and the clients to do whatever I can in my power to defend the property. Right. That is consent. Number 5, right of chastisement. If somebody violates your rights, obviously you have to retaliate or reciprocate. Right. That is now right of chastisement. And then acting upon order. It's like you didn't want to do it and your supervisor or a superior to you orders you to fight back. Say, hey guys, these people are shooting. You want them to kill us. Why don't you just fire back? You got guns we gave you. Then you shoot, you kill a perpetrator. When you go to court, you say, no, me, I didn't want to shoot. He is my supervisor, my manager is the one who gave the order. So I was acting upon order. Then number 7, official capacity, which means as long as you are in uniform, you are on duty, you have to do what you have to do, what you've been hired to do. That's it. So those are what called the 7 grounds of justification. Number 1, private defense. 2, necessity. 3, impossibility. 4, consent. 5, right of chastisement. 6, acting upon order. 7, official capacity. That's where your question 1 is. List 7 grounds of justification. Then you just list those. Right. Now, then we come to the requirements of private defense to be successful in court so that it can be able to be used in your defense. If you choose to use private defense, you don't just say it was private defense. You need to explain exactly what happened. So these are the requirements. There are also 7. Number 1, there must have been some kind of attack. 2, the attack must be unlawful. 3, the attack must be directed at one or other legal interest. 4, the attack must have commenced or be imminent. 5, the defense action must be directed towards the attacker. 6, the defense action must be necessary to protect the interest which is in danger. 7, the defense action must be right. So number 1, there must have been some kind of attack. We are still on private defense, which is the requirements that qualifies it to be successful in court. Number 1, there must have been some kind of attack. 2, the attack must be lawful. 3, the attack must be directed at one or other legal interest. 4, the attack must have commenced or be imminent. 5, defense action must be directed towards the attacker. Defense action must be necessary to protect the interest which is in danger. The defense action must be reasonable. Those are the 7 requirements in order for private defense to be successful in court. If you're going to use it in your defense as private defense, it must have those requirements. When they say there must have been some kind of attack, which means you can't retaliate if nothing has happened to you. You have to be attacked, or it's imminent, right? Or it has commenced, then you start retaliating. 2, it must be unlawful, which means it's illegal. 3, it must be directed against one or other legal interest, which means you or the place that you are guarding. Number 4, the attack must have commenced or be imminent, which means it should have started, or there are signs which show that there's no more turning back. You understand? Then number 5, when you defend exactly the same person that attacked you. That's why they say defense action must be directed at the attacker. Then, number 6, defense action must be necessary to protect the interest which is in danger. Which interest which is in danger? Because it was aimed at one or other legal interest, either you or the place that you are guarding. Right. And number 7, the defense action must be reasonable. If you shoot him, then you are done. You don't have to buy petrol and burn him. So those are what we call the 7 requirements which qualifies private defense to be successful in court. That's your question 2 is. List 7 requirements for private defense. Number 1, there must have been some kind of attack. 2, the attack must be unlawful. 3, the attack must be directed at one or other legal interest. 4, the attack must have commenced or be imminent. Number 5, defense action must be directed towards the attacker. 6, defense action must be necessary to protect the interest which is in danger. 7, the defense action must be reasonable. We are done. Then we come now to what they call necessity, plea of necessity. To say it was necessary for me to do what I did because it was because of 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. You understand? Necessity, it can only work in circumstances of an emergency, which means you don't have a choice, it's an emergency, or it infringes the rights of an innocent third party. Right. we are done. So it's only private defense and necessity. All right. Then we come now to the Schedule 1 offenses. We've got murder, which is defined as unlawful and intentional human killing. We've got rape, which is unlawful and intentional forceful sexual intercourse with the opposite sex, right? We've got assault, which is application of force directly or indirectly to a person's body, right? Then we've got robbery, which is unlawful and intentional misappropriation of corporal property belonging to another, jeopardizing the other person. We've got things like public violence, where people they group to commit a crime as a group. We've got intimidation, where somebody is threatening you to do or not to do something. Understand? We've got things like fraud, which is an unlawful and intentional distortion of truth, jeopardizing the next person. Then we've got forgery, unlawful and intentional forging of a document or an instrument to jeopardize somebody else. Then we've got what they call arson, destroying immovable property belonging to somebody, right? By setting fire to it. So there is a lot, but the question only comes saying list 6 Schedule 1 offense. You don't have to explain the definitions. So you just list murder, rape, robbery, arson, forgery, fraud, intimidation, housebreaking, arson, trespass. It's a lot. I'm sure we actually also did those in grade E and D. Right. But that is the third part. Then we come to a repetition again of the powers of arrest. Section 42 of the Criminal Procedure Act of 1977, which clearly stipulates that a security officer or a private person may arrest any person, number one, with or without a warrant, two, commits or attempts to commit a crime in his presence, three, commits a crime and is escaping from lawful custody, four, whom is by law authorized to arrest in respect of any Schedule 1 offense, five, who is engaged in an affray, six, the lawful occupier or owner of private property may arrest any person who commits or attempts to commit a crime in his presence. The question comes saying, list 5 powers of arrest, then we are done. Then we come now to manner of effecting an arrest. I think we did that in grade E also, which is when you arrest a person, number one, you touch the person, two, you read him his rights, three, must inform the person of the arrest. That thing they do on TV, you are under arrest, you have the right to remain silent. Exactly that same action. That is the manner of effecting an arrest. Then, after giving reason for the arrest, you request that person to accompany you to the police station or to lawful custody. If he agrees, arrest is complete. If he resists, then you use minimum force. That is all about legal aspects to grade C. You have got 3 questions basically. Sometimes the other question paper has got 4, but it's only 3. Question 1 says, list 7 grounds of justification, which is number 1, private defense, 2, necessity, 3, impossibility, 4, consent, 5, right of chastisement, 6, acting upon order, 7, official capacity. Question 2, list 7 requirements for private defense to be successful in court. Number 1, they must have been some kind of attack. 2, the attack must be unlawful. 3, the attack must be directed at one or other legal interest. 4, the attack must have commenced or be imminent. 5, defense action must be directed towards the attacker. 6, defense action must be necessary to protect the interest which is in danger. 7, the defense action must be reasonable. Question 3 says, list 6 Schedule 1 offenses: murder, rape, robbery, assault, arson, trespass, breaking and entering, fraud, forgery, intimidation, public violence. Just write 6. That is question paper 1. Question paper 2, it can add one more question, which says list 5 powers of arrest, which is number 1, with or without a warrant, 2, who commits or attempts to commit a crime in his presence, 3, who commits a crime and is escaping from lawful custody, 4, who is engaged in an affray, 5, whom is by law authorized to arrest in respect of any Schedule 1 offense. Question paper 2 can also bring section 39, which is manner of effecting an arrest. Then you go 1, touch the person; 2, inform the person of the arrest; 3, read him his rights; 4, give reason for the arrest; 5, request the person to accompany you to lawful custody; 6, if he agrees, arrest is complete; 7, if he refuses, then you use minimum force. Thank you very much. I hope you learned a lot from this module 1 of grade C. Tomorrow I'm coming back with module 2, which is protection of information. Thank you very much. May God bless you.